Hi, this is Karen Richardson. My presentation today is about the new kinds of copyright that are making it easier for teachers and students to be able to use materials that they find on the web in their own multimedia creations. The presentation itself is located at the Wikispaces site listed here. There's also a clickable link in the conference weblog posting for this presentation. This video will serve as just an introduction to the general topics you'll be learning about, and then I encourage you to visit the Wikispaces site. So this all starts with the Constitution. The people who wrote the Constitution thought it was important to provide some kind of protection to those who created things, and so they put it into the Constitution. It's Section 1, Article 8, Clause 8. Here's what it says. The important part here is the limited times, I think, and notice this was an exclusive right. And so the idea was that if you created something, you got the right to reproduce it, make different versions of it, figure out how it was going to get distributed to people. If it was a song, perform it. If it was an artwork, display it. You owned the right to do that, and others who wanted to do those things with your work had to get permission for you. Well, the Constitution said limited times. They probably meant about 20 years. Now copyright can last over 120 years, and that means that most of the things that are being created right now will never be available to the rest of us to use throughout our lifetimes, and that really doesn't seem like that was the purpose of the Constitution. Now remember, you can't always ask permission. That's the crux of the old copyright rules, getting permission. So you can write a note to the creator of the image or the audio or the video that you want to use, explain what you're doing with it, and then wait for them to grant you permission. Unfortunately, you may not have the time to do that or the resources to do it. You might want to be able to use things without having to get permission and use them legally. Now, teachers have always broken copyright law in their classroom. This isn't a new thing. It's just that in the past, they did it in their classroom. They copied too many poems, or they used a cartoon on an overhead transparency, or they Xeroxed workbooks that they didn't have permission to Xerox. But because they did it within their classrooms, they rarely got caught, so it didn't seem like it was such a big deal. Then the internet came along, and now teachers and students could download things off the internet, remix them together, and put them back up on the internet for everybody to see. And then they started to find out that copyright was important, and it had meaning for them, and it wasn't a very good meaning because they started getting cease and desist letters, people telling them that they were using stuff without permission, and so on and so forth. Well, luckily, as we move into the 21st century, there's some new movements in copyright that make it much easier for teachers and students to be able to use things off the internet in their own creations and then republish them to the web. And that's really what this presentation is about. So here's the agenda. You'll get a short introduction to copyright, fair use, and public domain. Again, that's the old rules, but Eric Fadden has made a very funny video, which is a series of clips from Disney movies. And that in itself is funny because Disney is one company that is very strict about their copyright rules and will tell people that they're doing things inappropriately. So Eric's put together a very funny introductory video. And then if you're interested in seeing what you do really know about current copyright laws, you can take the copyright quiz by Hall Davidson. There's a link for that in the Wikispaces page. Then we get to the good stuff. This is the video introduction to Creative Commons, the movement that's making it easier for teachers and students and really anyone to share their things on the internet by giving them some choices in how they organize their copyright license and the kind of rights that they give to other people and the kind of rights that they keep to themselves. And then we'll end with a preview of some copyright-friendly websites where you can find things that are licensed in Creative Commons, but also things that are in the public domain that are available for you to use as well. So I hope you enjoy the presentation. There's the URL. I'm looking forward to your comments and ideas and discussing these issues with you further. And then I'll end with a quick thank you. The picture of the classroom that I used came from Old Shoe Woman at Flickr, and she's licensed her pictures under Creative Commons license that allows me to use it without permission as long as I attribute it to her. The other images in the picture were all in the public domain. That means I can use them without permission. So, again, I hope you enjoy the presentation. Thanks for coming.